was mentioning to you about the sweet little hostel in Brindavan, which was originally a car shed. It also had a symbolic significance, as Swami used to tell us. You are all cars which have come, which are under repair and therefore come to Brindavan. And I am the mechanic who is going to ensure that all of you go back properly repaired. He said, your eyes are like the headlights. They don't focus on the road, but they are focusing on the cinema posters which are there on the roads, on the walls. And then he said, the air in your wheels, the air of self-confidence is not there at all. It is a tire which has gone flat. And then the horn has got unstuck. So you keep on chattering all the while. And then the steering wheel of the mind has a life of its own. It decides where it wants to take you. And of course, you need not mention about the brake at all. There is no brake of sense control. So Swami said, I will change all this. I will make sure that everything is properly repaired. And finally, I'll give you a nice coat of paint. And then after that, I will not only do all this, I will also give you a new driver. The driver is Sai. You take this driver, has a lot of practice, of course. Yes, in the midst of a war, he was the driver for Arjuna's chariot, isn't it? This driver will take you only along the highways. He will not take you to the gullies through which you have, gullies and drains through which you have all the time been driving. You will go along the highway and reach the destination fast. That's what Swami used to say. So this was the hostel to which I joined. The other day I was mentioning about a student who would make some item for Swami and then it would be offered to Swami. Now one day early in the morning, Swami came to the hostel. It must have been about 5:45 in the morning. And Swami came, our Suprabhatam was over and we were all in our rooms. Swami suddenly came and we all quickly assembled around Swami. We were extremely happy that Swami had come in the morning, and Swami asked for this boy. Where is he? He asked. Of course, first he asked, where is the warden? And the warden came running. He had not expected Swami would come this early. And Swami asked him, where is that boy? Swami named the boy. And the warden was shocked because he didn't find him among the students. Now, when Swami used to come to the hostel, everyone would assemble, and this boy was not there. And Swami looked at him pointedly and said, Warden, don't you know where the students are? Now, the omniscient Lord expected his wardens also to be omniscient. They also ought to know where the students were at various times. It was quite a tough call to be a warden under Swami. Was a very caring but a hard taskmaster. And the warden was sweating because this boy who normally would be there, in fact, he was very conscious of making things for Swami. So he was always there, always attending to his chores, and that day he was not there. And there was pin drop silence. All of us were silent. And then in the far distance, we could hear a gruff voice. This boy had a gruff voice. And so some of us used to make fun of him and said, hey, why are you speaking to God in direct speech, we used to say. What we meant was, why are you speaking instead of singing? And this boy used to say, no, God listens to all kinds of prayers, including mine. That's what he used to say. But that day, we had a beautiful lesson to learn. And the moment this sound was heard, Swami pointed. And all of us were quiet, pin drop silent, and Swami showed in the direction of that sound and said, Ostunadu, he's coming. And we had actually stood in front of Swami in the form of a U, with Swami at one of the apex, U. And this boy came in, and he came and stood behind everyone else. And Swami called him by name. Where were you? Swami asked. And this boy was about to move when Swami said, remember, we were all standing. So this boy was covered till the neck, and he was in the second or the third row. Third row. And Swami said, "Where is my garland?" Swami said. So this boy came forward, and to our astonishment, we found in his hand a beautiful garland. This boy had got up early in the morning, and he had collected flowers, and he had made a beautiful garland for Swami, chanting Swami's name, sitting in some corner of Brindavan and chanting Swami's name, and he wanted to offer it to Swami during darshan time. And what was Swami doing? Swami is coming earlier than darshan time to receive it, because the same enthusiasm with which you want to give, I'm sorry, not the same, multiple fold enthusiasm compared to the enthusiasm with which we want to give, the Lord comes rushing to us to receive that garland. After all, is this not exactly what happened in the case of Andal when she wanted to give that garland, okay, which she had actually worn? The Lord was so thrilled with it, and that is exactly, after all, it was the same Lord Krishna, and it was only that the devotee was different. And Swami was so happy that Swami said, "Take," and he gestured towards this boy, and all our eyes went in the trajectory, and we saw a laddu being formed, and it went and fell into that boy's hand. And we were all so thrilled. We were all so thrilled. When our devotion is so sweet, the Lord comes and gives us sweet in return for that devotion. That's what we learned. Prasadam comes automatically from the Lord. And so this was one beautiful thing. Of course, when I remember his catch, I also remember that when Ravi Shastri, the famous cricketer, had come to Brindavan, he was called to Australia as a replacement for someone who had got injured. And before going there, he came to Brindavan to have Swami's darshan. And Swami was returning after giving darshan to devotees, and suddenly Swami threw something at him. And with his quick reflex, he caught it. It was a sugar candy. And Swami said, "Good cricketer," he said. "Good catch." That's what Swami said. That's what came to my mind. Okay, so this is how we used to spend the days in that hostel. It was a beautiful place. I even remember one dinner we had in that hostel. In those days, outside Brindavan, there was hardly any activity. If a bus goes in one direction, a bicycle would go in the opposite direction after 1 hour or 2 hours. There were hardly any vehicular movement in to and this side or that side. And therefore, after about 6 o'clock, the gates of Brindavan would be locked. Also, nobody else was permitted to stay inside Brindavan. Brindavan had huge anthills, 6 feet, 7 feet high. I remember lots of snakes were caught. All that vegetation and was cleared, and anthills were cleared. I remember someone had come from Mudumalai forest to take all those. Okay, so for a number of days, all these were caught and sent. Okay, so that's why nobody used to be allowed to stay in the night in Brindavan. And one of those evenings, we wanted to have a dinner with Swami in the hostel. So we prayed that Swami should come. And Swami came I remember at 6:30 in the evening. Swami just walked down from the old bungalow. The old bungalow was there till 1984. And somewhere near 1983-84, around that time. In 84, of course, April 26th, Thai Brindavan was inaugurated. So Swami took his residence there. Before that, it was the old bungalow. So Swami just walked down and he came to the hostel. And I remember the senior boys were all busy upstairs. There used to be a first floor, the ground floor and the first floor. The ground floor was where we had the small living rooms and the dining hall. And the first floor, it would be a dormitory, a huge dormitory in which students were there. Even the warden used to stay along with the students in the dormitory. So the senior students were getting all the mats laid and changing the plates and so on. So Swami took all of us juniors and he had a bhajan session. The beauty of those bhajan sessions those days used to be that Swami would tell each one of us who should sing next. And you'd say, hey, sing a Vitala bhajan, sing a Devi bhajan, sing a Rama bhajan, like that. So it used to be so thrilling. After that, dinner was ready, and the senior boys and the warden sent word. They conveyed to Swami that everything was ready. And then Swami called us all upstairs. We went, had a grand dinner. What I remember very beautifully about the dinner was the session we had after dinner. Once the plates were all removed and we washed our hands and came, Swami stayed with us. There were no guests. I think only Ram Brahmam sir and one more gentleman from the north, old devotee of Swami, was there. And then Swami imitated many people. And Swami said, who is this? Come on, guess. And of course, we didn't have to guess at all. It was so easy to make out whom Swami was acting. And we realized that Swami was such a wonderful actor. He could act, of course. He is the director of this entire play called Creation. When he acts exactly the idiosyncrasies of various people, it would be highlighted so beautifully that it was easy for every one of us to guess. And this session went on till, I remember, 10:30 in the night. And then we walked with Swami to the mandir, and Swami went inside the room. We had Aarti there, and then Swami retired. It was such a wonderful evening. I can never forget it. We had many more such wonderful evenings. We will stop with this for today. Sai Ram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagawan Shri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.